Okay, hello, it's Lissy. It is Thursday, July 24th at 7 p.m. This is a rare after work video. And so, as I debated with myself about how to spend my evening, I was going to either take myself out to dinner, I was going to do some exercise, or was just going to come home. And I opted not to go out to dinner because I'm going to be out to dinner every night starting tomorrow until Monday night, and Tuesday will be breakfast and lunch out because I'll be on the vineyard. I didn't feel like exercising, which normally I wouldn't really allow myself to just not do it if I had nothing else to do. But I have been at the gym or at Pilates every day for the last 3 or 4 days. So I cut myself some slack. So I came home and I thought I could do cocktails and Q&A with you. So you guys have sent me a bunch of questions. I have made myself a Vesper. Cheers. So I will drink a cocktail while I go through your questions. Won't this be fun? Delicious. Okay. So I'm trying to decide how to go about this. I guess maybe I'll go in the order that they are. Some questions are duplicates. Some questions I'm gonna table for another video that where I want to spend like more time. But here we go. So basically, I think I might start with the personal questions. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with the personal questions because some of the shopping, fashion related questions, I might do a whole other video on. We'll see how this goes. It's 7:04 now. We've been doing 2 minutes already of my yapping about nothing so far, so let's see what happens. So, okay. Okay, one question is, how long have you lived in Boston? So I have been in Boston for 20 years this year. I moved here, so basically, let's see. I moved here from Florida 20 years ago. I came up here to go to graduate school. I came to Boston at the time because my brother was living here, and he had gone to graduate school here, and I never in a million years thought I wanted to be anywhere where it wasn't warm, but I figured I'd come up here, I'd do my year and a half, and I'd go back to Florida. And I had even prearranged my program, my graduate program. Part of the deal was halfway through you do an internship, so I had already prearranged my internship down in Florida, so that presumably then I would have a job offer to go back to Florida when I finished school. And I got up here, and I couldn't have been up here but for maybe a month or two, and I was like, I'm never going back to Florida. Not happening. I'm a city girl. That, suburban sprawl, driving 20 minutes to get everywhere, it just didn't suit me. Now, mind you, I made this decision in the summer when I had not experienced a Boston winter, but it's been 20 years and I'm still here. So that answers that. Okay. Then, any career advice? These are all, by the way, from NPM 2000. Nolan, one of my friends here on YouTube and Instagram. So the other thing he said is, any career advice for someone who wants to work in finance in the future? So here's the thing. I think I'll say two things. One, there are so many different areas of finance one can work in. I started out my career in public accounting, and I have worked within the investment management industry pretty much my whole career. When I was in public accounting, I audited mutual funds, hedge funds, private equity funds, the like. And since I left public accounting, I have worked in in investment manager. I've been worked at investment managers, basically. And I have been at my current company 8 years. And I'm probably not leaving, until I retire. Which is a whole other, I've got a long time before that. But anyway, so my advice is, I would say one, you have to like start at the bottom, and you have to be willing to do like the crap work. Because let me tell you, my first year in public accounting, let me rewind. I worked a few years before I went to graduate school, and then after graduate school, I started like entry level at a big public accounting firm, which, by the way, is usually where people right out of college, like that's the level people right out of college start, and I was already in my like late 20s. So I was starting kind of behind everybody else, just not in terms of experience, really, because my experience wasn't exactly relevant, but in terms of age. Um, so my advice is, whatever people ask you to do, just take it as a learning experience. And I am a firm believer in you get what you give. So I think you're not entitled to anything. You have to work for it. And that's exactly what I've done my whole career. I've always worked hard for what I've gotten. So that's my advice for people wanting to work in finance. But I think that's relevant advice no matter what you want to do. This is an interesting question. Okay, NY Love CC. Have you ever dealt with attitude or judgment from your coworkers or boss because of your luxury dressing? Any tips in managing that? So I would say, I don't think I've ever gotten any kind of attitude. I definitely am a standout in terms of how I dress at work compared to my coworkers because, I work in investment management. So I would say I'm an outlier there, but I don't think I've ever gotten an attitude. I still dress professionally. Like, I still feel like I dress appropriately for work. But yeah, I wear lots of luxury things. But, maybe if I was I feel like when I was brand new, even my boss at the time appreciated that about me. So I do like my Madonna t-shirt, by the way. I'm in my like cozy attire. Although I'm hot, I might have to put the AC on. Yeah, so I don't personally feel I've encountered any attitude for the way I dress. Okay, how do you plan your outfits? Do you segment in advance? Blah, 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 blah. So I think I am going to address that in another fashion, either later in this video when I talk about more fashion-related stuff or in another video. So we will come back to that. What do you do for, Christine Ip, 2013. What do you do for work, and are your colleagues into luxury item too? Well, I think I just told you what I did for work. I work for an investment manager. And no, most of my colleagues are not into luxury. I work at a very successful company. I'm sure some of them, I think some of the, like, especially some of the men dress very classically, and I'm sure they're very beautiful. I'm sure they're very nice and expensive and beautiful, and they are beautiful clothes. But in terms of like the way I dress, like I'm definitely more of a conspicuous consumption kind of gal. There are a couple of my like work friends are definitely into the labels and the dressing, but not to the level that I am. Like, I have one work friend, like, she likes the Gucci belt. Like, she really loves Gucci, so she likes the Gucci belts and the bags and stuff. And I have another friend that, appreciates beautiful handbags and shoes, but I'm next level when it comes to that. Not that any of you are surprised to hear that. Okay. Red Toenails 026. What other states would you consider moving to? What are some fashion trends that you'd never do? Okay, I'll come back to fashion trends. So first, what other states would you consider moving to? The only other place I've really ever considered moving is New York. I think you guys know, like, my siblings are there. My brother's in New Jersey now, and my sister's in, like, New York, like, not in the city anymore. She used to be. At one point, they were both in Manhattan, so I did feel a strong pull. And at some point in my career, when I was job searching, I interviewed a few places in Manhattan, but I never made the move. I have a life here. So in the foreseeable future, I don't plan to move anywhere else. I think long term, like in terms of, maybe when I'm ready to retire, I wouldn't mind having a place in Charleston, South Carolina. But I don't know that I'd live there all year. Like, I really love Boston. And then also red toenails. Oh, these are other. I'll come back to the fashion related stuff. Got any more dating stories? If so, do tell. So I don't really have anything in particular to say. Dating is a lot of work. I spent a long time not dating at all. Like I don't want to say I didn't care because it's not really true. I just didn't care enough to put forth the effort. I have a very fulfilling career. I have a very fulfilling personal life with my family and my friends. And so I never felt like I needed to spend time trying to find somebody to date. And it just never happened like organically. Then a little over a year ago, I started putting forth some effort. And over the last year, I've probably, at one point, my friends and I, they were like, how many people have you actually been on dates with? And I was like, I counted, it's probably like at least 15 people in the last year and a half. But, you know, like a date or two here and there. There was one person for a few months, and there were a few that lasted a little longer. But, you know, I find, I don't know, it's just not easy. I don't know why. Some of them fall off the face of the earth. I think I have more balls than the men. The men need to grow a set of balls because I would really personally appreciate it, like to just say something went wrong or at least tell me you don't want to spend time anymore or whatever. Like after you've spent a lot of time communicating, whether it's on the phone or text or whatever, and after you've been out a few times, like I feel like you owe somebody that. And I've done that with people. Like there was one person I had been out with a few times and we had spent a lot of time texting and talking back and forth. And then I met someone else and so I was honest with them about it. But no, these guys would rather just like totally, like it's this whole, I think they call it ghosting. They literally just, not literally because it's not literally, they figuratively fall off the face of the earth. So anyway, that's the dating life. Okay. C. Sycomas. Tell me how you got so into fashion and how did you get into blogging, tweeting, and your website? So basically, this has just happened to me at a young age. I can remember being in the second grade and wanting a pair of designer jeans for my birthday. I think at the time it was like Jordache or something like that. I've always loved fashion. It's just, I mean, even in high school, like I can remember, you know, having Gucci bags and Louis Vuitton bags. Like I've always loved it. And it's interesting because my mother's not really into it in the same way. So I don't know where it came from, but it just did. And then, I don't know, many years ago now, at least 5 or 6 years ago, one day I was like, you know what? I could use a creative outlet. I'm going to start a blog, and I did. And here I am. And I really just do it as a hobby. I just enjoy it. And I do enjoy like I know we don't know each other. Even before I did the videos, like even when I was just blogging, like I enjoy the community. There's something about it that I really like. Okay, Ladybug Carrie. I know you travel to New York a lot. I live on Long Island. Have you ever been? Would you do a house tour? So my brother-in-law's parents live like right on the edge of Queens and Long Island. So I've been there to that area, to Chinatown for Chinese New Year. And when I was very young, my best friends, cousins and aunts and uncles lived on Long Island. So sometimes for holidays I would go there. So that's when I've been there. In terms of a house tour, I don't know, maybe I will one day. I mean, it's so small. Like you see this is my common space and you see my bedroom. There's not much more to show, but I can consider that. Also Ladybug Carrier. Have you ever been married? Would you like to have kids? What type of car do you drive? Okay. I've never been married. I don't want kids. I decided a long time ago I didn't want kids. I don't think it's for me. Like, I love my nieces and nephews. I love spending time with them. I feel as though parents it's a true calling. Like, you are really giving your life to somebody else. And I have never had the desire to do that. So yeah, no kids for me. And then what else did you just ask me? Oh, what type of car do you drive? I don't drive a car. I haven't had a car since I moved to Boston 20 years ago. So I sold my car then. When I need a car, I do Zipcar. and I generally get whatever the luxury options are. I'm like, if I'm going to drive a car, I'm going to like go for it. So let's see. Okay, E. Patterson, what is your occupation? I think we covered that. Tommy Maddie, my question is, I adore your channel. Oh, thank you. My question is, what is your opinion on gay rights? You seem a very kind and lovely person. Have a great week. Thank you. So gay rights, I'm like, I think you should do what makes you happy. And I will do what makes me happy, and everyone should do what makes them happy. And I don't think anybody should worry about what anyone else is doing. I think if you want to marry somebody, if it's a man or a woman, that is your business, not mine. You know, I want to marry, I don't even know if I want to get married. But if I did, I'd want to marry who I want to marry and not have somebody dictating to me who it is. So that is my opinion there. Karen B., anything you'd like to share about yourself, and how did you meet your friend Alicia? Well, I think I'm sharing a lot. And so my friend Alicia and I met, it's probably been like around 14 years ago through a mutual friend. And she and I met just kind of like, I was the organizer of this whole gaggle of gals at the time. And, you know, somehow we've just met through a mutual friend, but the second we met, we were fast friends. Like it just, you know, when you click with somebody, that's what happened. Okay, Noble Kel, your makeup always looks lovely. Thank you. I would like to know your holy grail makeup and skincare. Okay, I think I'll come back to that because I can really focus on that by showing you, you know, things. So I won't do that today. Diane Haman, how tall are you? I'm 5'9". Debbie A., will you ever buy your own home, or do you prefer renting? So I have considered buying, but I love my location. Other than my apartment could be bigger and I could use an extra room just to be my walk-in closet. I really like my apartment, and it is, in the grand scheme of the cost of renting an apartment, it is relatively inexpensive. I've been here a long time and my rent has stayed fairly steady. Having said that, I have considered buying, but I have other things that I'm investing my money in. So I haven't really seriously considered buying a place in the immediate future. Okay, the Dextra. What did you want to be when you were a teen? What do you do now? What's your fave place to go on the East Coast? What's your fave fragrance? Okay, so when I was a teen, I thought I was going to be a teacher. I went to school to be a teacher. I graduated. I worked part-time at an elementary school, and I also worked part-time at a bank. So while I was in college, I worked part-time at a bank to help pay my way through school. And then when I graduated, I was living in Florida at the time. It was the early 90s. It was really hard to find teaching jobs at that time. And I got the part-time gig, so I worked part-time at the school, part-time at the bank. I didn't do that too long. A full-time opportunity came up at the bank, and I took it. And I worked my way up. I was a teller supervisor. I was an assistant branch manager. And then it was, what am I going to do with my life? And that's when I went back to graduate school and moved here. Okay. You know, I told you what I do now. My favorite place to go on the East Coast, well, I love New York City, and I love Charleston, South Carolina. I would say those are my two favorite places to go on the East Coast. Like New York City, there's just no other city in the world like it. And I love the shopping. I love the food. I love the vibe. Like, I just think it's amazing. And Charleston is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to. Best restaurants, lovely beaches. Like, I just think it's a lovely, lovely place to visit. And fave fragrance, I think I'm going to add that to my, like, another video list. Naleli Rivera. Oh, thank you for putting a smile on my face with your videos. Love them. Thank you. I'd like to see your workout outfits, and what's your favorite wine? So workout outfits, I'll table that one too, and I'll add that to, you know, when I actually am going to run around and show you all these things. My favorite wine, I don't drink red wine. I drink white wine or I drink rosé. And I like something light and crisp. Like I don't like buttery, oaky, like California Chardonnays. I generally prefer Italian whites or Spanish whites or very light pink rosés from Provence. Marie Chanel, do you have any future plans to live somewhere else, or is Boston the only place for you? I think I answered that. And I love your great style. Would you ever consider posting outfit of the day on Instagram a few times a week? I wouldn't. For a while I was doing that and it's kind of fallen off. So I can consider picking that back up. Okay, Yolanda Doucette, please do a video on your H jewelry belts. Nolan, you also asked for an Hermes jewelry video, so I will do a separate video on those. Cleo Doll, are you content being single? Do you ever see yourself married? So am I content being single? Absolutely. Am I recording? God help me, I hope so. Anyway, I'm definitely content being single. Okay, we're back in action. I don't know what just happened there. But anyway, I am content being single. I don't know if marriage is for me. Like, I've never met anybody that I wanted to marry. Like, maybe in my 30s, I dated somebody for several years who I thought at the time that maybe that would happen. But since then, I don't know. It would be a huge change for me. I'm very independent. And you kind of get used to having things, doing things the way you like them. So, I don't know. Having said that, though, I dated somebody last year, not for a long period of time, but it was very intense. And if I felt that way about someone again, maybe I could see myself getting married. But I don't feel that I need that to complete me. Like I feel, as I said, I think earlier, I feel as though I have a very full life. So I really only want to spend time with somebody who, fits in with that. I don't know how to word it the right way. Somebody who complements my current life. So, okay. Did we have other questions? That might have covered it. So basically, there are a bunch of other questions. The bargain district, what's on your list for your next purchase? Jules Laurence, if you could only have 3 handbags, what would they be and why? Raquel Eman, are you still considering an Hermes Birkin? Actually, that I can answer. Yes, I'm still considering it. My brother-in-law's best friend is big into like estate sale shopping, and he often will find like Hermes scarves and things like that. So my sister put him on the hunt for me for a Birkin at one of these estate sales, which he said like are slow in the summer, but we'll pick up again in the fall, because I feel like there I could get like a good price. So I am on the hunt for that. And then, okay, Nolan, you also had other questions. What items are on your wish list currently? How do you budget for luxury items, or how do you decide how much is too much for a piece? Any update on your Birkin hunt? We just talked about that. What is your favorite bag you own? Those I'm going to come back to. Etta Alid, what was your first luxury purchase? What do you do with luxury items you outgrow? I think I'll come back to that. Nina Nguyen. I know this is a Vietnamese name. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry for that. Nina, I'd like to know which brands clothing-wise are you currently most excited about. What clothing brands offer the best bang for your buck? What are your top 3 coats from your personal collection? So that's another one I'm going to come back to. Chindi Guizar, luxury items you regret purchasing. I'm going to come back to that. And I think that's it. So I think that's all the questions I got. If I missed any, please let me know. And I hope you liked this video. But like I said, I will follow up with answers to the other ones. Have a lovely night and cheers.